Tell me about the Targaryen girl in the east.
Where did you hear about this?
Is it true?
Apparently so.
Don't you think we ought to do something about it?
What's really surprising here is not Joffrey's comment. It's Tywin Lannister's reaction to what Joffrey said. Tywin, the best political mind in Westeros, better than Ned, better than Robert, just anyone, he just brushed it off. And Daenerys already had 3 dragons and the Dothraki behind her. Castles the horsemen could not take, dragons could burn them down. It was an obvious growing threat, but Tywin acted like it did not matter. Maybe he just did not believe it. He grew up in time when it was believed that the dragons are gone and the last one was size of a cat. To him, Daenerys probably just had 3 flying cats. And he might have thought that this was just another broken telephone story where somebody saw a 3-headed sigil of House Targaryen and then it became 3 little dragons somehow. That is why he called them
Curiosities on the far side of the world are no threat to us.
which is crazy because even Robert wanted Daenerys killed.
Kill every Targaryen I get my hands on.
You can't get your hands on this one, can you?
Joffrey's logic was right. And even Cersei said that they're just baby dragons at some point, she said. But baby dragons grow, and Joffrey, of all people, was the one applying logic. He sounded the smartest in the Lannister family. Joffrey had another bold idea.
We should have a standing army of men loyal to the crown.
For Westerosi standards, that was quite revolutionary. Dictators in history often tried things like that, weakening nobles, empowering the ordinary people who had little to lose, and it was easier to control them, easier to keep them loyal. And Joffrey's father, Robert, should have thought of it too. His own rebellion worked only because he united few great houses and there was not big enough royal army to confront and defeat him. And he should have made limits on private armies and forced some kind of contribution of soldiers to the royal army. I mean, Robert himself said,
There are still those in the 7 kingdoms who call me usurper.
and a rebellion would have been much harder if one big trained army already existed. But there is a very good criticism to the idea of a royal army and why it would not be easy. The first problem is logistics. Most Westerosi soldiers were also farmers and workers. If thousands of them moved to King's Landing, they would stop farming, trading, and paying taxes. A massive permanent army would drain resources. The only way it works if that army keeps conquering new lands, looting and taxing them, new cities, perhaps in Essos. But Westeros is not surrounded by endless rich cities. A smarter move would have been smaller royal garrison, I think, or even hostages from noble houses raised at court, though that would spark a rebellion too if the king had no reason to take hostages as a punishment. Like when lords rebel, that would happen as a punishment usually. One of Joffrey's more controversial decisions was Ned Stark's execution.
Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
When this decision was made to execute Ned Stark, everyone says it was stupid because he lost a valuable hostage. Yes, that's true, but sending Ned to Wall was not safe either. And Ned knew Joffrey was not Robert's son. If he made it back north, the lords would rally behind him. That's why execution was a rash decision, but it was still better than letting Ned Stark go to the north, to the Wall. And he would not stay at the Wall. Of course, he would tell to all his northern lords that Joffrey was no real king, and he agreed to go to the Wall just to save the people. They would find a very good reason why Ned Stark did not indeed have to stay at the Wall. Next, I want to compare Daenerys' plans to what Joffrey wanted. People remember Daenerys saying she wanted to break the wheel, to break the feudal system of lords, and yes, Joffrey wanted the same thing actually. He knew how hated he was, and how hated he would be in future perhaps, and how vulnerable kings were to united lords. I mean, his, quote, father was a good example. And his uncle, Tyrion, educated him.
Mad King did as he liked. Has your Uncle Jaime ever told you what happened to him?
So Joffrey had a lot of reasons to want to dismantle the feudal system and reduce the power of the lords.
But how do we know these dragons are just curiosities and not the beasts that brought the whole world to heel?